Joining us now to talk about that and other things is the Chief of Staff of the New Journey PAC, AJ Stinson. AJ, I mean, setting aside the fact that Keith Olbermann is clearly an unstable person, one thing I do agree with him on, I think this is an economic war between the left and right now. And that sucks. It's not like I'm cheering for that. I don't sit back and think, oh, that's a great thing. But I think it is what it is, and we have to fight it as such, do we not?
I agree. Conservatives have to decide that we're not going to let these bullies push us around and force us to believe and do as they want. We don't care if Amazon takes our books down. We're not going to stop saying the truth. We don't care if you don't want to come here. You know, you had Kristi Noem recently back off the, college basketball fight because she was afraid of the same thing. And we have to all decide that we don't care what it costs us. We're going to stand up for what we believe in, regardless of what these people think.
AJ, speaking of the Kristi Noem thing, this has been bothering me for a long time now. Not just because I was a fan of hers. I thought she did some really great things in COVID, but because I've seen so many on the right succumb to this. They have the right stance on an issue, and a stance that you or I would come to, and then people just start honey whispering in the ear, and the Chamber of Commerce, and this person, this business is going to leave, and this business is going to leave, and you're going to lose this many jobs, and they just cave. But I'm not going to sit here and believe that Kristi Noem is all of a sudden a bad person. What happened? Is it a lack of spine?
Well, as governor, she's responsible for jobs. She wants, sports to be there because sports is important to their economic bottom line. But at the end of the day, what we have to say is if we stand up to these companies and let them know that if they want to pull stuff like this, we don't care. You're going to have to find a better way. If you want to persuade the American people, if you want to show support to different ideologies that you do it in your private life. Stop using your company to bully other people. Georgia is trying to secure their election, which is what our entire republic is built on. If we don't have secure elections, we have nothing. No one is free if we don't have a secure election, and we have to stand up for that. Integrity of elections is our number one priority, and Georgia has to stand up to these bullies and tell them that their ideology does more than our elections.
AJ, do you think the right is starting to wake up to that fact, especially when it comes to more than just Georgia, all of corporate America, when these corporations declare war on you, on me, that we have to take action? I don't watch the NFL anymore, which sucks because I live and die for football. I won't be watching any Major League Baseball this year, and I love taking my sons to a Houston Astros game. I'm not doing it. I'm done lining the pockets of the people who hate me.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of these companies are making more money overseas than they are in America now. We are not their primary customer. The NBA makes more money in China than they do in America. So in a way, they're not necessarily afraid of the hurt that it will do to their bottom line. But if we stand up to this, at the end of the day, we can't keep saying we're going to make our own everything. We're not necessarily going to be able to start over with every organization that's ideological that we don't like. But what we can say is that we won't allow companies to bully us. And if we set that standard that no matter what you say, you're not going to get us to change what our priorities are, then we'll be able to prevent them from thinking that this is a way forward in the future.
AJ, that Georgia law, the voting law they passed, which is obviously the basis of what we're talking about here, if you actually read the text, which I'm sure you had of it, it's the most benign thing in the world. If anything, it expands voter access instead of restricting it. And the left just instinctively reacts as if it's the end of the world. I mean, we have CBS saying, quote, 3 ways companies can help fight Georgia's new restrictive voting law. They act like this thing is the end of the world. It's what makes it so hard to have honest discourse now of they blow everything out of proportion. It's like you and I are trying to talk to someone screaming at us.
I agree. And if you have some issues with the law, if you don't like that, it prevents people from being able to register the same day. It pushes for a voter ID law, which everyone wants you to think is racist. These are not things that are racist. These are not things that are harmful. These are things that make sure that if you want to vote, that you're responsible, you decide how you're going to vote ahead of time, and that you execute a plan to do that. It's not preventing anyone who has a job or who has ever been, had done anything in society, which what they would